What's good? Happy Wednesday. Lucky Lefty Podcast. ONORA boys in the building, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. Welcome in as snow brings us in on this beautiful Wednesday Midwest afternoon. Sun getting ready to set. Hope everyone had a fantastic hump day. First fall practice is in the books. So we'll talk about the offense, the defense, players to watch. Also, we'll get to Marcus Freeman, a little bit of his press conference, some of the major points, talking about the quarterback battle, talking about the offensive line and how he's feeling about the offensive line, and some other topics. We are brought to you by ONORA Whiskey. Also, YouTube, subscribe. We appreciate it. Make sure you share. Let everybody know. Share it on your social media feeds right now. And then tap in with us on CFB Nation, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, audio edibles each and every day. Don't forget Patreon, patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Leave your questions on our YouTube page or your comments. We respond to all. We are the home of the misguided passion, forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. Oh boy, how you feeling, Left? Let me tell you something, man. Practice one in the books, and it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about from what I saw. Shout out to everybody. It's good, of course, good to see the team out there. Team looked healthy. The operation looked a little bit different. We'll talk about that. Shout out to everybody that covers Notre Dame, showing up, being there, seeing them in health, man. It's just, Left over last year, bro, I've learned to be a lot more, not that I wasn't before, but to a lot more thankful for things. I didn't get to do this last summer, Left. We all know why. I didn't get to do this last summer. So it was funny because I know there were a couple of times BD was standing next to me and saw me zone out. And I was literally just kind of saying to myself, like, man, I'm just so thankful that I'm here, because I wasn't even able to be here last year during fall camp. So yeah, bro, an extremely grateful day, an extremely successful day, in my opinion, for practice number one.
Day, okay.
Extremely successful day for practice number one. And I'll just start from this point of view before we get to the specifics, right? Because I have my notes with players that stood out, players that won in one-on-ones and teams, the performances of the quarterbacks. I'm gonna tell you to relax today, Left. Your boy didn't really do you justice today. I'll leave it at that.
He didn't do justice.
No, he didn't do you justice today. Because you stand up for your day one Notre Dame quarterback. You do. You're a loyal brother. You're a loyal brother.
Wait, which one? Which one? Though, who we talking about?
Oh, the main one you talk about. The one you argue for all the time.
Win the Olympics or the other one?
No, the other one, not the one that will win the Olympics. No. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Oh, by the way, your boy Braun was trash today. I know he put up numbers, but he was trash.
Whoa! I mean, hold on now. He been playing like Superman. At some point, he got to have a down game. I mean, that's
the second. He was trash today. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, let's get to it. So what I did see today is that this is definitely a better program, just on the strength of operation. You know how you watch and you go and you watch a very successful corporation, and you go and you sit and you watch the offices and the people and how they interact and how they get things done. That has vastly improved the way Notre Dame goes about their business.
Yes,
in practice. It's different. It's different, and it was definitely noticeable. Definitely, I'm talking about just Marcus Freeman was invisible. There were times when Marcus Freeman during team reps was on the other field.
He was on a defensive field?
No, it wasn't defensive field, because you would have the first and second teams going through team drills, and then you would have like the third and fourth quarterbacks, wide receivers, and the rest of the team on the opposite field, the far field, doing drills and running 7-on-7. And Marcus Freeman was over there coaching. There was small instances where it took place, but you could tell he is in full CEO mode. That's what I'm really trying to get at.
Oh, they all making business decisions.
No, he's in CEO mode. Like, he really has total faith in this coaching staff and the ability of what he has installed over the last 2 years to run the way it's supposed to run, regardless of whether or not he's the overseer. So that even if he goes to the far field, he expects business to be handled the way it's supposed to be handled.
That's right. You expect that.
You expect that. And that is something that I can't say that I particularly saw. Something else that jumped out to me, and maybe this is just because Harry is Harry. Anytime you went to a Notre Dame practice, Harry Heastand was the loudest voice on the field. It wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Now you hear everybody. Dude, Mike Brown. Heard Mike Brown today. Heard me.
Everybody's chatting a little bit.
Heard Al Washington. Definitely heard Mike Denbrock. Good Lord. Mike Denbrock was getting on everybody. He doesn't care.
Out for something good if they talking.
He doesn't care, right? So Joe Rudolph, unless it was like in their position drills, really didn't hear him during the team. He was coaching, but he wasn't as vocal as the other guys. So the teaching also just stood by the wide receivers during their opening drills. And the teaching that Mike Brown is doing, there is an emphasis on route running. There's an emphasis on catching the ball and getting up the field and getting yards after the catch.
Okay, but now, in fairness, now is this any?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Is this any other difference than when Chancey came in, helping the receivers learn some routes, releases? Is it the similar intro as Chancey had, or is Mike Brown a little different in coming into this?
Oh, there were some varying drills. I mean, there were some drills that I'll give you a perfect example. They had a 90-degree drill at 5 and 7 yards. They moved the cone to 5, then they would move it to 7. And they were working on outrunning outs. And he was, man. No, everybody got coached. I don't care who you were. I don't care if you were Jaden Greathouse, Chris Mitchell. Everybody got coached or encouraged. If you did, man, better than the last rep. Yeah, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. Sink your hips. Come on, you're chopping. That up. Coaching, emphasis. Letting them know, like, yo, that's not good enough. When they go to the 7-on-7 or they go to, the one-on-ones, like him and Mick are back there in the middle of the field. Go after that. Go get that. Mick, close on that. The attention to detail and the nuances of the positions. It was really good to see. It was really good to see. And I don't want to be comparative, bro. I'm not trying to say that anyone is better than anyone else. What I will say is that I feel like there's more of an emphasis on the details of the position in the game when I look across the board on the coaching staff. I just spoke about the wide receivers because before they started the main practices and they were just in their positional drills, that's the team I went to. And shout out, let me say this, man. It was a terrible, terrible car accident as I was headed up to practice today, and it made me about 15 minutes late. To the trucker that literally flipped into the ditch on 94 East and fell on top of the SUV, and they were trying to get the people
Fell on
trapped.
top of it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, like traffic was literally stopped for about 30 minutes. I was literally 2 miles away from the toll road and was wondering what had taken place. And when I finally got up there and saw that, I was like, yo, immediately just kind of like sent out a prayer, like, yo, I hope everybody is okay.
So it looked
It
like
was,
some movie scene.
yeah, it was pretty bad. So I hope everyone was okay from that situation. But getting back to what I saw, it's just the operation is just better, love. Operation just seemed better. We'll get to that when Marcus Freeman did his press conference. He talked about that. He gave credit to Lauren Lando and what he established, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a team standpoint, the attitude that he established.
Biometric using vans and the camp.
Well, I just think, left sometimes, because we'll see whether or not it has staying power, but sometimes you know how it is as a teacher, coach. Sometimes what you do and what you preach becomes stale, right? And either you learn to evolve,
Yeah, that's fair.
or you have to get a new voice in there,
Yeah.
right? Even though the men are rotating every 3 to 4 years, the young men in the program are rotating, but sometimes you need a new voice. I don't even really know if it's about what he's brought.
Right.
It's just something new, something refreshing, and it seems like the young men have grabbed hold to it based upon what Marcus Freeman said. Health-wise, there are a lot of good things. Everybody looked like they were in shape. Everybody looked like they were having an easy time. Marcus Freeman talked about that. We'll get to that in the second half of the show. But I want to start with the quarterbacks, Left. It won't be long before you hear that Riley Leonard is the starter, Left. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. That's just my opinion.
It won't take all it can.
No. I don't see Marcus Freeman waiting until like the last week. No. There's no reason. There's no reason to wait. And even
so
in saying that,
is it night and day difference?
Okay. I'm trying to be respectful, Left. So I'm really trying to be respectful.
Sean,
and I'm gonna choose my words wisely tonight, right? So you asked me, is it night and day? No, but it's noontime and sunrise. I won't say it's night and day, but I will say it's sunrise and a high noon sun.
A high noon sun.
Yeah, sunrise is like the light just coming up. It's kind of eradicating the darkness, and then the sun being almost at its peak. Almost, not at its peak, but getting there. That's the difference. That was pretty good on my part, bro. I just pulled that one out of left field. Yes, that's good, because I do feel like the darkness that's been in that quarterback room, I feel like, yes, Steve Angeli is a great story and a bright light to come out of that. He absolutely is. If you thought that he was going to be the last quarterback standing of the 3 quarterbacks that were recruited, meaning Pine, and our new wide receiver, Tyler Buckner, I think you would have won that bet with a lot of people. So yes, I absolutely feel like Steve Angeli is a bright light and a really good story. Put it like this. I told several people this today. I'll take Steve Angeli at Illinois right now. No problems.
And okay,
No problems.
So
No
you
problems.
think he's definitely starter material.
Bring him to Illinois right now. Right now. And you have a lot of happy Illini fans. Now, Riley Leonard, talent-wise, possibly can be that 3 p.m. sun at its hottest, highest in the sky. It's not there yet. That's why I said maybe he's noontime. Maybe he's noon. He's getting there. He can get there. He's not there yet. And I think the struggles that you forecasted that he would have initially showed themselves today. But I wouldn't categorize it as a struggling practice. He didn't struggle in practice. I wouldn't say that. But the issues he did have, one, you said he would struggle with communication. You said that. And in one particular play, Mike Denbrock, after being pressured and throwing off his back foot to, I believe it was Cooper Flanagan in the flat, who caught the pass and probably would have been tackled for about a 3-4 yard loss. I mean, not loss, but 3-4 yard gain. And you heard Mike Denbrock from all the way across the field say, that's on you. That's on you. You got pressure because you didn't shift the protection properly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the nuances of not playing during the spring, not being in the offense, like not knowing the right shift, not shifting the offensive line the correct way to pick up the blitz. And then, just movement in the pocket, the nuances, stepping up in the pocket, being able to get the ball off. Those little small things, right, that come with communication that you pointed out in part 1 of the Mike Denbrock playbook and notebook that you went over, how important communication is in this Mike Denbrock offense. He had a couple of...
Yeah, looked like we had a little inside scoop.
Well, you played with the man as your OC and you played the position left. I mean, hey, but yeah, small things like that. A little bit, some inaccuracy.
Were they
inaccuracy
in terms of rep distribution? Was he taking a majority of the snaps, or was it still a 3-3-3 rotation?
They had a pretty good, what I love, bro, as I said again, like the 1s and 2s, when they went to teams, the 1s and 2s were on the near field. On the far field, CJ and Kenny was still running 7-on-7.
Yeah, like they still at the ground stage. They ain't got
but I'm saying they're still getting reps. They didn't just waste them and have them watching on the sideline and then they come in and get 1 or 2 throws. They probably threw the ball just as many times today as Steve Angeli. And Riley Leonard. Just not as a 1 and not in teams, but as far as actual throws, they definitely threw the ball probably close to the same amount of times. Definitely. So everybody was getting work. I will say when they lined up in the rotation for the positional drills, and it was Riley, then Steve, then CJ, then Kenny. But once again, we said this. We've said for a long time, if you're just going off pure talent at the position, the most talented quarterbacks in the room are the 2 youngsters. And today didn't disprove that. If we're just talking about who throws the ball the best, who have the prettiest balls, it's the 2 youngsters. It's not night and day, but they have the best arms, the prettiest. Kenny, let me tell you something, man. Kenny had a good day today, boy. Kenny had a good day today. He's got to stack them, though. That's
what makes it. But that's what's the highlight of recruiting is that we're recruiting better talent.
Yes,
the younger guys are more talented.
Yes,
the guys that you are putting out there on the field. That's great recruiting.
Yes, I will say Riley Leonard was moving very well today. There was no noticeable limp. Marcus Freeman talked about that in his press conference. Look, from a physical standpoint, I came away from today feeling pretty confident that Riley Leonard's okay. Of course, he didn't run the ball. Of course, no one was being touched. So yeah, all in all, it was a pretty good day. Pretty good day. Quarterbacks, you could just tell it's a better quarterback room, more talent. Yes, Riley Leonard is the starter. Riley Leonard is the starter. If put it like this, and it's funny, I had this conversation. I asked someone, I said, if you had Riley Leonard and Steve Angeli and Kenny Minchey and CJ Carr, and all of them were starting as freshmen. They all came in as freshmen together. And you had to choose which tandem you would take over the next 4 years. Which tandem would you take?
Probably
once again, if it was Steve Angeli and Riley Leonard or Kenny Minchey and CJ Carr, which tandem would you take for the next 3 to 4 years?
Kenny Minchey and CJ Carr for sure.
I think most people would come to that conclusion if they were starting from the same point. You know, Riley Leonard, if you say maybe 1 to 2 years, you would say, man, give me Riley Leonard for that 1 to 2 year period. But if you're going to stretch it out and they're all starting from the same point, and I just say that to kind of point out, look, Riley Leonard right now, in my opinion, is he deserves to be the starter. And maybe deserve is not because you don't feel like he's proven yet that he deserves
Definitely
to be
not
the starter.
deserved. He was paid to be the starter, sure.
Look, he's left. He's better. He's better left. He's better. You need to hop on a plane and go to practice.
I'm not saying that he's
just
not
tell.
better. Okay, so do you think that the value and the effectiveness and the efficiency of the offense is better with Riley in there at this time?
Are you asking me based upon today?
No, from what you
But because that's not fair, because I didn't see much of Riley in the spring. I saw a lot of Steve in the spring.
No, but you've also, I'm not saying compared to Steve, just the offense itself, does it look like it's higher functioning with Riley behind the center other than Steve?
I would say yes. I feel comfortable saying yes.
Okay.
I feel comfortable saying yes. I feel comfortable saying yes right now. It's just my humble opinion. I feel comfortable saying yes to that Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's move to, if you have any questions, by the way, get to the bag, put GTB. We'll get to it. Your super chats, we'll get to it. Matter of fact, we're not going to wait. As soon as you put a question or a super chat up, we're going to bring it up and get to it. Offensive line, left. Offensive line. Solid. That was the first thing I text you after practice because that was the biggest. That was the biggest.
O-line was solid.
Biggest concern for everybody. O-line, solid, man. And Al Golden was not. Al Golden didn't put the training wheels on his defense today. They were bringing it.
Blitzes. I mean, that's standard though. They bring it standard.
Second level, Xavier Watts coming, Jordan Clark coming, dude. They brought it. They brought it. And then pass pro, especially specifically that first unit, solid. The question is going to be, from what I saw today, the question is going to be, for me, whether or not Sullivan Absher is going to get a real opportunity to possibly jump into that top 5. There, dude, the athleticism, I'll say this. The tandem of Charles Jagasaw and Emil Wagner are probably more athletic than Blake Fisher and Joe Alt.
Yeah, Emil was a two-way guy.
Well, my point is, Emil Wagner is definitely more athletic than Blake Fisher. Moves better,
Blake's biggest thing
better
Blake
hips.
Was a little stiff.
He's a little stiff. Yeah. Right? So don't mistake. I'm not saying they play better. That's
Right.
I'm
But just
saying
from
right
a
now, just
athlete,
pure
just
athleticism.
pure,
Yes,
yeah. Like, how
pure
can you
athleticism. Quite possibly a more athletic tandem at the tackle. They need
more athletic
reps.
quarterback tandem, more
Yeah,
athletic
yeah,
DN tandem?
yes. Charles Jagasaw has gotten rid of some of that high school fat,
Yep, baby fat.
looking a little bit more pro-ish, if you will, at the tackle
Okay.
position.
Okay.
Um, Emil Wagner, I think, based upon what has been said, has pretty much kind of set himself apart at the right tackle. Everybody was wondering, can he get up to 300? Hey, if he's 298 and can be strong and anchor, hey, you have to roll with until Gerby Lambert is ready. That's how I see it playing out. Emil Wagner starts, and then he's gonna have to, because the way they talk about Gerby Lambert, if Gerby Lambert is that dude, it's gonna be hard. Marcus Freeman said it today. He was like, dude, I don't care if you come in January, if you come in June. If you're a dude as a freshman, we can see it before we get to the first game. Like we don't need to see you in season. If you can play at the speed you need to play at college football level as a freshman, it doesn't matter. June, January, doesn't matter. We'll see it in fall camp. And so, that's something to look out for. Tosh Baker is going to be there because of this experience, but I just think the talent, once again, which is why, I understand why people say they're concerned because they haven't seen it. There's inexperience on that offensive line. They haven't seen it, and that's fine. But be rest assured, the talent is there. And I would much rather have the talent that needs to play than to have less talent that's more experienced. That's just the way I see it at the O-line position. We had a question here from William Chesney. Thank you for tapping in, William. Is Ashton Craig our tallest center we ever had? He seems huge. That's a good question. I'll have to dig back into that. I would venture to say yes. But it's funny because there was a rep and they came out and I said, yo, is Ashton Craig the shortest guy on the offensive line? That just lets you know how big the offensive line is. And Ashton Craig is a big center.
Wow. What is he, 6'4", 6'5"?
I think Ashton Craig might be 6'3", 305, 310.
Wow. Wow.
And that's not like a bulk up 305. That's a real natural, 305, 6'3", 6'4". And he's the shortest, bro. So, that goes to show you. Super chat. Terrence Westbrook, thank you for the super chat. Grade the wide receivers on day one. I'll get to them in a second. I'll tell you one thing, boy. That's a crowded room, Left. Bro, that might be like a battle all year long to see who's hopping on that bus. That's a highly competitive room right there, ladies and gentlemen. Highly competitive. So the first unit was Jagasaw at left tackle, Pat Coogan at left guard, Ashton Craig at center, Billy Schrouf at right guard, Emil Wagner at right tackle. The second group was Anthony Knapp at left tackle, which was surprising, right? Sullivan Absher at left guard. I love Sullivan Absher, bro. I'm sorry. I just do. I'll tell you, he had a block today on a Jadarian Price run. I was like, okay. Sam Pendleton at the starting center, Rocco Spindler at right guard, and Tosh Baker at the right tackle. So that's your group. We gave our O-line report yesterday. You missed yesterday's show in the podcast. Go check it out. O-line battles, what we think will happen, and we'll get to it in a minute because Marcus Freeman seems to have some great confidence in this offensive line. Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's talk about the wide receivers since Terrence Westbrook just brought them up. The wide receivers. First group. First of all, let's just say this. How can I say this?
Were they the
the group that showed the improvement that we've been waiting on the most?
I would say that there was definite improvement when it comes to in and out of breaks. Man, let me tell you something. That cat, I think it was caught. I think it was Jaden Greathouse, and I want to say he was being defended by Carson Hobbs. I think so. And he ran like a 10-yard out, but the way he set him up left was so nasty that you just heard like everybody like, "Oh, good-ish." Like the route was that good.
Yeah.
The route was that good. Jaden Greathouse is definitely going to be odds-on favorite to be the leader in receptions and receiving yards.
Now, is it more than
Absolutely.
Chris Mitchell?
I think Jaden Greathouse might end up being the go-to dude. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That dude, man, like, first of all, he's always been big, but you can see he's taking his body very serious.
Yeah.
He's taking his body very serious. And he is, heck, he was getting open as a freshman when they allowed him to play inside at his natural position. So, but Chris Mitchell had an opportunity to make a couple of plays, didn't come down with it. He had a couple of nice comebacks, some dig routes. Yeah, Michael Gilbert made some nice plays today. And he had a couple.
Yeah, that's the other guy I thought I was going to ask because he was doing really well in the spring.
Yeah, he had a couple he didn't come up with, but Michael Gilbert had some flashes. Cam Williams, you could tell, and I wrote this in my notes just watching the drills. You could tell he's thinking too much right now. He's such a natural athlete that this is probably really the first time that he's had to hunker down. And of course, the hamstring injury that kept him out the latter part of the spring. And that hamstring is difficult to come back from. And I remember talking to him like a week or two right before he was playing golf. He was home right before he went back, just checking on him. Just, you good? He was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm finally good. So he's just getting back into the mix. But you can tell when he opens it up, like left, if he's running a streak or a post, oh, it's beautiful to watch. It's absolutely beautiful to watch. But like the nuance, the routes, not as crisp in and out of the break. And you could tell he ran a couple of routes and he knew it. And you could tell the frustration. And it's like, man, kid, like just play. Just play. You're so naturally gifted that it's going to come. Just play. It's the first practice. Like, relax. And I think everybody in that room knows that the room is so deep that it's going to be absolutely, I don't want to say a bloodbath, but it's going to be a battle, a consistent battle. Not only to get in the rotation of the top six, but to get at the top of that rotation and get production. Ladies and gentlemen, I will say this. Bo Collins looked very good today. Very good. Remember, we said Bo Collins was the only receiver we saw give Ben Morrison some issues last year. I can see why. Because he was, man, he is a route runner, very experienced. You could tell. It's going to be very interesting to see how they use him, but very encouraged by Bo Collins and what he showed today. The top three were Jaden Greathouse, Jaden Thomas, and Chris Mitchell. Let me tell you, I want to mention Jaden Thomas. You know why I love today, Left? I don't know if this is something.
Why is that?
I don't know if this is something they told the coaches or this is something they decided. In one-on-ones all day, Jaden Thomas didn't want anybody else to stick him other than Ben Morrison. And Ben Morrison man, they went at each other all day. I don't know if they just said, look, this is how we're gonna set the tone. And it was like Jaden Thomas got Ben on a couple of back shoulder throws. I will say this, Ben, I want to say, was out there the first team reps. Second team reps, they went with Jaden Mickey and Christian Gray a little bit more. I think Ben Morrison reached his limit. They probably limited his snaps today. He reached his limit. And then Christian Gray came in and got the majority of the snaps, the second team, the second half of practice. But that was really good to see the competitive nature of the leader of the wide receiver room and then the leader of the defensive back room saying, look, no, you don't stick anybody else. Come get this work. And they went at each other. They went at each other.
Want to see. That's definitely what you want to see.
They definitely went at each other. Second group: Jaden Harrison, Bo Collins, and Jordan Faison and KK Smith. And Michael Gilbert got in there a little bit as well. That second group is fast, bro. That Jordan Faison, Jaden Harrison, KK Smith combination, quick, fast.
It looks small. That's a small lineup.
Yeah, that is because Bo Collins would be the boundary receiver, the big receiver in that group. Oh, yeah. But tight ends, Cooper Flanagan and Eli Raritan were pretty much running with the ones. Eli Raritan and Jack Larson got some work in. Jack Larson, he's gonna need some work. He's gonna need some work. Mitchell Evans,
he's more of a bigger body than a
Mitchell Evans didn't do too much work in the team. He did go through 7-on-7 and some other drills. But let me tell you something. Conceptually, what they do offensively in the passing game was really, man, refreshing, bro. I have not seen that many completed screens out of a Notre Dame offense.
Completed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They ran a fake screen to the right. It was a fake screen to the right and came back to a screen to the left to Jaden Greathouse that popped for it probably would have popped for about 10 to 12 yards.
Wow.
And it was executed with the perfect timing. Man, no, it wasn't Steve. It was Riley. Riley hit him with a nice throw. Jaden got up the field. I was like, yo, I haven't seen that in a long time. A long time. So just things like that. And like you said, I'm not saying this would be the game plan for Texas A&M, but remember when I asked you, what would you do as the OC with a young offensive line going on the road in the SEC environment early in that game to settle them down? We saw a lot of get the ball out of your hands.
Yeah, that's what we talked about.
Tight ends in the flat, tight end releases, dig routes, quick outs. We saw a lot of that early. And they were really efficient at it. So as far as the wide receivers, I think Terrence asked me to grade. Jaden Greathouse had a good day. I'm going to use the word good because if I say great, I don't know how people are going to take that. I think Jaden Greathouse had a good day. Bo Collins had a good day. Jaden Thomas, like I said, going at it with Ben. He had a couple of catches. Jordan Faison, didn't see too much of him, but yeah, you could tell Marcus Freeman brought his name up. We'll get to that shortly. And then Jaden Harrison, he had a couple of plays on some crossers. but they definitely are working on getting the ball. You could tell the quick passing game early is something they're trying to get down. And that's going to bode well. Yeah, that's going to bode well. That's definitely going to bode well. So that's the offensive side of the ball. Left. Is there anything from what I said that you feel like, man, you want to tap into before we possibly switch over to the defense?
Well, the running backs. Did the running backs?
It was really, they really worked on the passing game today.
Okay, so it was a concerted effort of not being a heavy run offense.
No, it wasn't a heavy work on the run game today. They really did work on the pass game. The offensive line got a lot of pass pro reps, a lot.
Yeah.
To show improve. And like I said, they held up. You know, that the defensive line, you know, put some pressure and had the quarterbacks throwing off their back foot. Yeah. I told you, Al Golden was bringing it. There was nothing vanilla today from what this offense saw from the Notre Dame defense. They brought it. And the crazy thing is, Al Golden can probably ratchet it up.
Really?
Yeah, he can probably ratchet it up. He probably can. Absolutely.
Now, are they getting home, though? Are they getting home with it?
I mean, dude, because they're not touching him.
Right. I mean, but I mean, are they getting back there?
Oh, the defense?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jason Onye was putting in work today. He's putting in work.
Well, he's been a guy that we've been high on since last spring. Just not disappeared a little during the season though.
Yeah. So recap. Steve Angeli, you know, little up and down day. Don Shula should have had. He dropped a pick six. That was, matter of fact, I can't wait to talk about a Don Shula. Cannot wait. Rod Hurd ran with the ones, but
Don Shula is looking like he's been ready to make an impact.
The read he made a read today that was a veteran read, and he just and Mick let him hear about it because it should have been a pick six, and Mick let him hear about it from the sideline, like catch the damn ball. Like, yeah, that should be six. So we'll talk. Luke Talich was making plays today, looking good at the safety position. So, like you said, the talent all over. You could tell this roster is extremely deeper. It's deeper and more talented than previous rosters. We'll see who becomes those top players that Notre Dame has had over the last couple of years. We'll see who gets to that level. But as far as like full roster, definitely more talented overall. So to recap the quarterbacks, dude, the youngsters can spin it. Didn't see a lot of them in team. They were on the off field. Riley Leonard, Steve Angeli got most of the reps. Yes, I think Riley Leonard is the starting quarterback. I really don't even think it's a question. That's just my personal opinion.
No question.
Yeah, there's no question. I understand it's only one practice, so I'm not overreacting. Some people might say I am overreacting, but even with saying that, Left, I have no problem. I think the word will come quicker than it's come in fall camps previous.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But the talent at wide receiver is I just don't know who's going to be that. All right, Left. I like Chris Mitchell. I don't know if because you always said he's a number one at FIU, but he's a 1B at Notre Dame. You said that from the jump. So I don't know right now definitively, and this is just after one practice. I didn't just come away from practice like, oh my God, that dude's gonna put up 1,000 yards for sure.
Really?
No. Do I think they're going to have 3 receivers with at least 30 receptions? Yes. Sitting here today, I feel very confident in Notre Dame having 3 receivers with over 30 receptions. Very confident. Yeah, 3.
Chris Mitchell, Jaden Greathouse.
Chris Mitchell, Jaden Greathouse.
And then one of the 3 other 4 that's going to play.
Oh, heck, even Jaden Thomas looked better, more in shape today. So, yeah, I feel confident saying that. I do. And if they don't have 3 over 30, then that third one will probably be definitely in the mid-20s.
Yep.
Right? Because there's a lot of, what's going to happen?
What do you think is going to happen?
It's going to be a lot of receptions in the short game.
Yeah, it's getting the ball out quick. Yeah.
That's my
guys run with the football. Jaden Greathouse is better running with the football than running routes to get touchdowns.
Yes. So I feel pretty confident with that, right? But is there a 70 reception, 10 touchdown, 1,000 yard guy? No. Jaden Greathouse, Chris Mitchell, Jaden Greathouse. Man, if they snap, they snap. If they snap, they snap. But we'll see. The running backs, what do you want me to tell you, Left?
Are they?
The running backs were really working on their pass routes. Devin Ford, it was good to see Jabron Payne post procedure back on the field after his ACL, walking around healthy. He did not have a brace on his knee. He was there for the guys. His leadership, he was one of the leaders of the room. So that's a loss with his injury. Devin Ford moves back from safety to running back. So the depth is going to be sustained, in my opinion. It's going to be very interesting to see. I think Aeneas Williams could possibly become that utility third down, red zone type back, because we saw a little bit of him doing that in the spring game. Maybe not early, but eventually he becomes that. But we'll see. The running backs, they didn't get a lot of work today. They just didn't get a lot of work today. Lucky Lefty podcast, and we come back hopefully. No, you know what? Let's get the defense out of the way. Let's go ahead and get the defense out of the way. Defensive side of the ball, defensive line, especially that first unit. They are who they are, ladies and gentlemen. They are who you are. Shout out to Howard Cross. I saw you doing the Macarena after you guys did your thing on like 2 to 3 consecutive plays. So the vibes were absolutely amazing. I expect him and Riley Mills to absolutely do great things. The first play in team, RJ Oben hit Emil Wagner with a double move to the inside. And it was an absolute great move. Jordan Botello hit Emil Wagner with a speed rush around the edge, but Emil Wagner was able to really just get enough of him. That probably would have made the quarterback step up into some pressure up the middle. Jason Anye, several times, had to offensive lineman back into the lap of the quarterback. It was really good to see. Armel Mukum was next to him, getting a lot of run. And unfortunately, he was on the receiving end of one of the best plays by a left guard today, and it was Sullivan Absher, who, collapsed him down, and Jadarian Price came through nicely. And it was a big run up the middle. But other than that, Armel Mukum, he held up. It was Onye Mukum. Other guys got some run. I saw Devin Houston get some run. Brendan Vernon got.
Oh, what about our guy Sevillano?
I did not see Sevillano in team. I'm not saying that he didn't play, but I didn't notice him in team. Okay. I didn't notice him in team. This secondary is going to be really good, ladies and gentlemen. No lie. Absolutely no lie. Secondary is not going through. They are no joke. Hey, bro. Secondary is going to be all right, bro. I'll just leave it at that. Secondary is going to be all right. They're going to be all right. Let me tell you something. The top 3 defensive backs can man, I almost said can hoop. Top 3 defensive backs can ball.
Wow.
That's all you need to know. Top 3 defensive backs can ball. They can ball. And I have full confidence that one of the freshmen are going to hit. I would probably put my money on Leonard Moore from what I saw today. But one of those freshmen are going to hit. And if one of those freshmen hit and they stay healthy at the cornerback, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a severe problem for wide receivers and wide receiver corps. It's going to be a problem.
And that's what a mix of a Don Shula.
Don Shula was man, he was really good today. He was really good today. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not exaggerating. He was really good today. Rod Hurd started out with the ones, but they blended Don Shula in. Man, Luke Tallich. Man, he is rangy, left. Rangy and a little bit more athletic than you might think. Luke Tallich was making plays. Xavier Watts was doing his thing. He's Xavier Watts. He was all over the place. They were blitzing him. He was coming down to the box. He's being Xavier Watts. Looks good. Ben, you can tell they want to make sure his shoulder is okay. And to be honest, on some of the Jayden Thomas got him a couple of times on back shoulders. And really looking back at it, Ben didn't really contest like he probably will once it gets to the season, so he can make sure that shoulder is right. You know, he really didn't go up through the ball because he doesn't want to, take a chance on, injuring the shoulder and letting it fully heal. But yeah, they're good at that defensive back position, man. They're really good. Jaden Mickey is not giving up that 2 spot without a fight. Because Christian Gray can go. He can go. Yeah, he can go. He can go. And he's physical. He loves to tackle. Dude, he closes on, even if someone catches the ball, he closes so quick and wants to hit. Look, man, that back end is all right. That back end is definitely rangier, more athletic. As a matter of fact, if they really trust Don Shula, Rod Hurd, Luke Tallich, they might do a lot more with Xavier Watts. He might be roaming a lot. You know what I'm saying?
But he might roamer.
Yeah, he might be that dude every week that defenses have to say, like, yo, all right, where's this dude at? Where's this dude at?
That's good for us.
Oh, absolutely. Because they worked on the passing game today, you really didn't get to see the young linebackers shed blocks, angles, things of that nature, take on blocks. But I'll tell you this. God dog, can they run? Bruh. Speed won't be a problem. First group, of course, is Drake, Kaiser, KVA, Jaden Alsbury, and it was Kaiser, Sneed, Drake. Then you had KVA, Alsbury, and oh man, I forget who the third one of the second group was. But I'll tell you this, they can run. That's the least of the issues. They can run. Like I said, it was a pass-heavy offense. They can cover. They can run. If the ball is out to the flat, they're there quickly. I'm interested in seeing whether or not they can tackle. That's with young linebackers, man, wrapping up, making tackles. That's going to be very interesting. Very interesting to see how they look. It's going to be very interesting to see how they look when they go more into the run game as the camp moves on. But today was really about pass pro, the pass game. And I did see this. Jalen Sneed and KVA were being used coming off the edge to go blitz the quarterback and rush the passer. So that was something else that I thought was very intriguing. Like you have to, when you have talented kids like KVA, you have to Kingston Villiamuasa. For those of you that might not know who I'm talking about. You have to find a way to get them on the field, man. You have to find a way to get them on the field. And I love Al Golden doing that. Love Al Golden.
Absolutely.
Love Al Golden doing that. Now I know the defense is, yes, the defense is a much briefer report than the offense because we don't really have, what questions do we have on defense? The young linebackers.
That's about it. And then who's going to have more impact as a defensive line?
Yeah, what do you want me to tell you? Howard Cross and Riley Mills are still good. I mean, they're still good, right? And I said this, because of the schedule, you're going to have a really fresh, and this has been a problem, I believe, for Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been really good and top-heavy defensively. And once they get to November, that defense is really tired because they play a lot of snaps.
Yes.
This year, the defense is going to be really deep and really fresh by the time they get to November, in my opinion.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Definitely fresher.
That's the secret to the success of the season, is having a depth that's good depth, not just guys that can rotate.
Yeah, I agree. That's why Jason Onye is probably one of the most pivotal figures in this entire defense. If he can become that next Howard Cross, but he's playing on your second line. If he becomes just as impactful as Howard Cross, man, now you're working with something. So I could dig a little bit more into it. I wouldn't be giving you guys what you deserve if I didn't give you some of my notes. One-on-ones, Jaden Thomas beat Benjamin Morrison. Chris Mitchell beat Mickey. Jaden Harrison beat Jordan Clark. Leonard Moore beat Gilbert. Nice breakup. Eli Raridan, man, beat Adon Schuler. Adon Schuler was upset about that because he read it, and it just happened to be a really good throw by Steve Angeli.
Here we go.
Deion Colsey, who I did not mention with the wide receivers, it was good to see him out there healthy. He had a win in one-on-ones. The Great House, I wrote Great House, Great Route. I already talked to you guys about that play. That man, yeah, he tap danced. He tap danced on that one. Benjamin Morrison came back the next rep. Pass breakup. Jaden Harrison beat Clark again. Angeli was making the throw. Collins, man, smoked Chance Tucker. And that was a Kenny Minchie ball. It was a beautiful ball, too. Beautiful ball by Kenny Minchie. And team, Riley Leonard started out, hit Cooper Flanagan in the flats. On that play, that's the play where RJ Oben actually beat Wagner to the inside. Once again, the quick passing game, right? Emil Wagner only has to hold up for about 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds, because the ball's coming out quick. Adon Schuler flashed again. Gilbert beat Chance Tucker in that first team. I wrote that the quick screen game and Mike Brown teaching stood out. Second team period, Thomas got Morrison again. Collins had another successful. He got Christian Gray. I wrote down the fake screen right, screen left, the Great House, and Michael Gilbert making another play. So those are the one-on-ones that I charted. And Kenny Minchie has some really good throws. CJ has some really good throws too, bro. Those are just, the youngsters can spin it, man. They can spin it. They really can.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, happy for the young guys.
The most impressive thing. I haven't even mentioned the most impressive thing. This is the crazy. I haven't mentioned the most impressive thing, left.
Okay, what is it?
The place kickers missed 1 field goal. Out of 3 place kickers, they missed 1 field goal.
Oh, they knocked them through.
In special teams. 1. And it was Mitch Jeter, and Marty Biaggi made him kick it over, and he put it right between the uprights. Now,
it's all good when you can do it when it's not doesn't count.
Yeah, dude. But that's totally different than the last couple of springs in practices. Practices haven't been consistent. Ladies and gentlemen, we got us a real punter. This cat, James Riddell, left. This man made us pull out the stopwatch. That's how impressive he was. And this is the thing. Marcus Freeman was like, I got to watch the film. He was all right today. He had some good ones. He had some bad ones. And I'm sitting there like, word? Did he? I'm like, because I pulled the stopwatch out, and this man was averaging like around 4 or 5 on hang time, bro.
Damn.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Hey, Coach Freeman must think he can do better.
Yeah, I guess so.
Coach Freeman's like, I watch him every day. He can do better than that. All I know left, 4 or 5, bro. Hang time.
Wow.
Around 4 or 5. Depending on who's hitting the stopwatch.
Right.
4.42, 4.5. That dude's hang time is like a 40.
Damn.
The amount of time it takes somebody to run the 40 is the hang time.
Yeah.
And it's tricky.
That's pretty
good.
So
hopefully, if you played the game of football or baseball, you'll understand what I'm talking about. From a baseball standpoint, there's something you have to, as an outfielder, you have to expect. Like if there is a small hitter, like a single doubles hitter up and they hit the ball in the air, once you get that first read, you're solid. But if you have a power hitter up and they hit a fly ball, you have to expect drift because they're going to have more backspin on their ball. So the ball is going, even though you see it and you gauge it, as it comes down, it's probably going to drift a little bit further back than you saw and gauged. It's the same thing with punters. Dude, the rotation on his ball and the hang time, multiple punt returners had problems trying to gauge his ball and catch it. Matter of fact, Jaden Greathouse muffed one that would have been a fumble.
wow.
Jaden Mickey had a problem gauging his ball. Jaden Greathouse. I mean, it was like they gauge it, they sit, they wait, and then when it's coming down, they're like, oh man, this is going further than I thought. It's very deceiving. The ball coming off his leg is very deceiving. Very impressive. Marty Biaggi and his special teams group. Hey, 2 moves have possibly solved the punting and the place kicking.
Wow.
The punting and the place kicking. Just two simple moves. Tip of the cap to Marty Biaggi. His special teams.
Told you he's the one.
Looked really good. Much better, in my opinion. Much better than they've looked in previous fall practices over the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yep. So that's offense, defense, special teams. And I gave the synopsis of the overall field of the operation. When we come back, Left, we're going to hear from Marcus Freeman, and I'll let you ride on what he had to say about the first practice. Lucky Lefty Podcast will be right back.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag, because you know, if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
You wrap me up in the color of love.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Onora Boys in the building. Sean Davis, Malik, Zaire, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, make sure that you do so responsibly. You ready to hear from Marcus Freeman? We're going to do that right now. But before we do that, Left, man, let me tell you something, bro. You know what's the dopest thing? And my wife was laughing at me, bro. You know what the dopest thing in the world is? And you only do this when you watch it, because the only time this type of event is on TV is the Olympics every 4 years, and it's definitely the overnight broadcast.
Really?
Equestrian dancing, bro.
Horse dancing?
Oh, fam. I swear this horse was doing the gritty last night, bro.
Wow.
Man, they had this horse dancing to 50 Cent, bro, and he was hitting the side step to 1-2. I was like, man, look at this horse go. Man, I'm telling you, I was enjoying it, dude. I was getting a kick out of it, bro. It was absolutely amazing to me. You know something else? You are Katie Ledecky. You are absolutely amazing, because there is no way you could pay me to swim 1,500 meters in a pool. 1,500 meters, bro. Do you know how many laps that is? That's 30 laps, bro. 30 laps in the pool. Do you know how much acid has built up in her body? That dude, lactic, man. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Let's get to it. Marcus Freeman talking to the media, and this was his opening statement. Hold on. Left, stay with me, dude.
I'm staying with you.
This is Marcus Freeman.
Hey, there's a lot of good, a lot of things you got to improve on, but it's just good to be back out there with the guys, with our coaching staff, and actually practicing football together. I think we had a great summer. I was really pleased with the summer and Coach Lando and his team, and how prepared our guys were for this upcoming training camp. And I'm just make sure to give them a special shout out for the job they've done. I'm excited about the coaching staff that we have, as we had, a chance last week to really spend some time together and get back into football mode. We called it a coach's retreat, but the ability to, get back into football mode. I just kept taking notes of, how great of a coaching staff this is in terms of teaching, but also motivating, is also working together. I'm excited to be with this group of guys. Just a couple injury notes. Kahana Kia is out. He tore his ACL this summer and had surgery, and so he'll be out. Mitchell Evans and Kevin Ballman and Benjamin Morrison all returning to play. They all practiced today in a limited role, but all are in return to play protocol.
That's good to see those youngsters back, feeling good. To lose Kia to the ACL, a kid that I felt like was really making strides during the spring. He was really making strides during the spring. And unfortunately, he suffers the ACL. And man, speedy recovery to him. But good to see Benjamin Morrison back. Good to see Mitchell Evans back. Good to see everybody out there moving around and healthy, man. It really was. It really was. Terrence Westbrook, my brother, I'm sorry. 1,500 meters is not 3.5 laps, right? The 200 meter is literally 4 laps. So that's impossible. I've been watching swimming for the last 4 days. The 100 meter is 2 laps. So there's no way the 1,500 meter is 3.5 laps. I think the only half lap race is the 50 that they save for the end. That's like the flat out sprint that they run. Let's get it.
But Marcus Freeman, what I liked so much is that he seems a lot more calmer in his demeanor.
Yeah.
He just seems a lot more calm. He seems like, oh, yeah, you know, guys, this is just exactly what I've been anticipating going into year 3. You know, it's probably good for him to be surprised by some of the guys like Nadon Schuler popping out and making plays and having 2 units that are, you know, 1A, 1B to each other in a sense, but and guys starting to identify their roles. I think with Jaden Greathouse being able to, like you said, take on that one leadership, I think that's a great spot for him to be in, because we talk so heavily about, yeah, we may have a lot of talent, but somebody's going to have to be that dog in the room. And Marcus Freeman, man, I think it's just this is the year. This is the year to do it. And the coaching staff is as primed enough to have the coaching experience to go into a season like this. So as much as questions as I'm sure that we continue to have, I'm sure Marcus Freeman has a lot more answers this year than years before.
You possibly you're possibly right. And Michael Hahn, you're saying the same thing I'm saying, right? Because I don't count. If you go down, that's a lap. That down and back, that's 30 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 30 times. You went the full length of the pool. I don't do that up and down as one.
The gas, yeah, that's a gas.
That's bull. If I swim the full length, that's a lap. Now, in swimming terms, hey, it is what it is. But he's basically saying the same thing. I said 50 down, 50 back. That's 100. That's 30. You're doing 30 50s. That's all I know.
Yeah, 30 50s.
30 50s to get to 1,500.
Yeah.
So we go correct terms, whatever. That's a long race. That's my point. That's a lot of swimming, bro. That's endurance. That's crazy endurance. Absolutely amazing endurance. And the swimming, bro, all of these races are like hundredths of a second. Like the top 4 swimmers are like separated by like hundredths of a second.
Hundreds of a second.
Yeah, bro. It's like
it's
more exciting than actual, like, it's more exciting than the in my opinion, it's more exciting than track and field in a lot of ways, bro.
Really?
Yeah, because it really comes down to who can touch that, man, who can extend and touch the wall. You know what I mean?
So that's more of a length thing.
Well, heck, all of them are pretty long. Have you seen the arms on these dudes?
Like
before they start and they're doing all of this, all of them have pretty long arms. That must be a prerequisite for swimming, long arms. Because I'm sure it helps. I'm sure it helps in the pool. Yeah. Let's get to it. Left, remember everybody was talking about the O-line?
Yes.
Well, Marcus Freeman, his thoughts on his O-line. Take a listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Went back to spring ball, right? They were in competition in spring ball, and what he's done over those 15 practices and progressed throughout the summer, they gave Coach Rudolph the confidence that, hey, he should be our starting right tackle as we start fall camp.
And then what's the balance when you are as experienced as you are on defense and you're breaking in so many new starters on the offensive line of judging this offense early on when they go 11-on-11?
Yeah, you just practice one, man. And I think as you look at it, you evaluate it for what it is, and you continue to find ways to improve. I have a lot of confidence in what our offensive line is going to be able to do. And you know what? Iron sharpens iron. And so if you're going against a really deep defensive line and also an experienced defensive line and a defense that's, running a lot of pressures early in practice and stuff like that, you got to know that it's going to make them better. And so this is a journey to get ready for the season, and I'm very confident in the play of our O-line.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
That he's very confident in the play of his O-line.
Yeah, and because a lot of things, one, he knows that his O-line is going against a top 10 defense every day at practice. Two, he knows that the O-line, if you get to Notre Dame, you're most likely ahead of the curve and only looking to develop and get better amongst other guys who are probably pushing you in that offensive line room, which they work well together. And then you got the fact that this is year 3, and he's like, man, we done built this process and this roadmap to what we want to look like in the years coming. This is the coming out party, and he trusts the guys that he has and the coaching positions that these guys are going to be right. Coach Rudolph, he's been with long enough to know that we just need the platform and get these guys in, and then we're going to be straight.
Yeah, it was absolutely great to see them, like I said, hold up in pass pro. Like that was the question, right? They put them right to the fire. We're not running the ball today. We're not running the ball. No, we're not going to give you any balance. You have to protect these quarterbacks, right? And their ultimate job is going to be able to just give them time. Give them, like you said, 2.5. We just need 2.5 seconds. We got too many weapons, and we're going to get the ball out of our hands quick. Just give us 2.5. If you give us any more than that, we're taking the top off the ball.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that Marcus Freeman is confident in his O-line. But what about his quarterbacks? What about this quarterback competition? Is there a quarterback competition? And how are you going to play this out, or how will it play out? Interesting to see what Marcus Freeman had to say today.
Going with the 1, Steve's going with the 2s. I didn't get a chance to watch a whole bunch of 7-on-7. I was with the other group, but I'll go back and watch film. But the time I was over there, I was pleased with both of them. They both made some good plays in those last team periods. And again, this is day 1, and I'm sure there's a lot of learning, but I'm excited for what they'll do.
I mean, being pretty excited for what they do. I mean, I think he sees this as his kids are graduating 8th grade, going in high school. He's just proud of them. And they put a lot of work in going into this. So this is about reaping the fruits of your labor and being in a position of I feel like it's the first year Marcus Freeman feels like now I can grow my coaching skills, my situational side of things, handling a schedule and maintaining the dominance throughout that schedule. We're walking in with the chips on our side of the table this year. Last year, we was on the posters for 3 of the top 5 games of the season. Now we barely have 1. So we'll fly under the radar for a long time. Except, but when we need to show out, we need to show out and do well.
I think ultimately, like I said, what I saw today, Left, is I saw a quarterback that I feel like, he's probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
He's probably a little bit better, right? And Steve Angeli is gritty. Is that the word we use? Just gritty. Like he's just like you're not about to rattle him.
Yeah.
Like he's going to keep
Jersey,
coming.
tough kid.
And he can make plays. He can make plays. He's a better arm than you think. He's a little bit more athletic and mobile than you think. You know, but it's just certain things that you're like, man, I don't know if he can get us over the top. I know we can compete and play with anybody with him, but is he able to get us over the top? That is something that you have to think about. He also talked about that top 10 defense left. Well, Marcus Freeman talked about that top defense in year 3 of Al Golden's defense.
For our defense, it's they're able to start at a place that they haven't been at the past 2 years because it's the third year in Coach Golden's system. It's also a veteran group that has learned, you know, the details of every defense that he wants to run, and so they're starting at we all saw level 500, and that's great because now you can continue to harp on the little intricate details of what makes a successful defense. So I'm excited for the future of this defense in this upcoming season because of what they've built over the past 2 years, right, into where it's at now. And so I look forward to seeing how it progresses.
Do you feel like they're at a place of plug and go now? Like the system is in place, we constantly get the talent. Now this is just plug and go. And we're constantly going to get top 10 defenses at Notre Dame. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, I think it's really based on also the type of players that you have. When you have a first-round player at a position, when you have the number one defensive player at another position, I think it's easy to stem off of that. So, yes, when you have a couple players like that, yeah, it's easy to print top 10 defenses every year. But also, you got to give credit to the development. It took time. Year 1 and 2, we was getting to year 3 where you're like, okay, this is the factory. Xavier Watts was receiver year 1, Marcus Freeman. Year 3, Marcus Freeman is player of the year defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's a lot to be encouraged about and to look forward to. But also it's something that you can see the roadmap is working. Like whatever we're doing to get to this point is working. And you can extrapolate that for the next 10 years. So, yeah, if all things stay in place, you get a couple first-rounders, Al Golden doesn't leave, and he gets a chance to keep adding on to the foundation of year after year, then, yeah, top 10 defenses is something that is right up our alley.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Notre Dame stacking 3 to 4 years of being a top 10 defense in college football. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing to see. Lucky Lefty podcast. He also talked about his confidence, not only in the O-line, but the confidence that has been gained team-wide by the offseason and the impact of new strength and conditioning coach. Well, even though that's not his particular title, Lauren Lando.
It was today as much as these last couple weeks since I've been back, just watching them train, watching them gel together, right? There's a true brotherhood that's formed in the summer, right? Through tough times. You know, I was really pleased by the brotherhood that was created this summer and you know, their capacity, their lung capacity, how they run, how they're able to condition. You know, I was able to watch a little bit of that in the past couple weeks, and they're a well-conditioned team, and they showed it today. You know, we got a little bit winded at the end of practice, but you can never truly be ready for practice until you start practicing.
Well, Lef, I'm going to leave it at this, and I'll let you go on that. I remember you vividly telling me that 2012 season, no, not 2012 season, but the 2015 season started in that off season. As soon as you guys got back from defeating LSU, everybody decided to stay. No one went home. And it was like, yo, we're doing this. And it was different. It was different. You said, yo, that summer was different. To hear Marcus Freeman talk about this summer being different, is that a good sign, in your opinion, of how locked in the players, because you talk about, everybody talks about player accountability and responsibility. Is that a good sign that the players are taking a step forward in leadership to say, hey, this season is going to be different?
I think so. I think so because, it's all about, like we had in 2015, it was a player ran team.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing it for the seniors. We took pride in our practices and going out each day because we knew that Brian Kelly wasn't scoring a touchdown for us. Tim Brock is going to set us up. We got to go execute because it's on us. That type of accountability is where it starts. When you get into camp, it gets competitive. Guys push each other to get better. We knew going into the season, everybody was on these pre-season list awards, very motivating. And so through witnessing all this preseason stuff happening around us, we understood that outside of this practices, we're getting some of the best football to prepare us for week to week. So that's where we started forming our identity and becoming a team that was real hungry, looking to show everybody else that, we have just as much as the best teams that y'all talk about. We just felt like we wasn't respected like the other teams.
And saying that, I think, something we saw today, because Marcus Freeman came back from New York, the coaches retreat, and he gets back. Lauren Lando has had the team not only throughout the winter, the spring, and then starting the off season before the coaches come back. And for him to have that impact and to be able to establish the things that Marcus Freeman wanted so they could hit the ground running. He talked about, look, it's easy. The defense, like I said, the defense wasn't vanilla today. You could tell, like, the defense knew, like, hey, we're in the middle of the playbook. Like, we're not the start of the playbook. It's day one of practice, and we're already 10 chapters in. Yeah, we're already in the middle of the playbook. And like I said, I feel like they can ratchet it up. I feel like they can go even harder than they went. They have that. And that's going to be a challenge to the offensive line, the quarterbacks. And I feel like with that top 10 defense, iron sharpens iron, they're going to make this offense fully prepared going into Texas A&M. So in my opinion, the offseason, the brotherhood, and what I saw, dude, it's just a different operation this year. You talk about year 3 of Al Golden's defense, year 3 of Marcus Freeman's program. It's just a different operation. I thought it was very evident. I don't know how other people that were there saw it, but I thought in its totality, it was very evident that the program has taken a step forward. I think you're on mute, bro.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This team in year 3 should be very excited about just the opportunity that they get to go out each day on standing on a platform. We're not ground level here. This is not base camp. We are semi halfway there to the top of the mountain. So the starting point should be faster for us, more explosive dominance that takes place, because at the end of the day, you walking into an environment that's hostile, but these guys don't even know each other. So we're going into the foxhole together 3 years in. We're brothers. We know exactly what to do, how to go about it. And that's what's going to help Marcus Freeman coach better in game situations, because his team's going to be more prepared. His team's experience better in all the coaching staff as well as the players, enough to where Marcus Freeman can make decisions and his team back him up through them because of that experience. And that's what you get in a year 3 program, that you've checked off recruiting, you've checked off addressing the quarterback, you checked off on the defensive lowlights that they've had and actually made it one of the stronger units of the team. I mean, he's pulling out trick after trick. Now the wins have to follow, which is something that he gets opportunity for this year. And even better, he's the first Notre Dame coach going into this playoff situation. So that sounds like some statue-worthy stuff coming up if he can accomplish this task ahead.
So, stars of the day.
Who were the stars of the day?
Oh, James Rendell and Mitch Jeter started 2 kickers, the punter and the kicker.
Yep,
Man,
he said they only missed one.
Bro, I was impressed by James Rendell. I was. I'll let Marcus Freeman speak for himself. Adon Schuler, definitely impressive today. Absolutely. Emil Wagner, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, like Charles Jagasaw might have had a couple of reps where he struggled. I don't think he had a rep where he just got beat. You know, it was like, okay, somebody's getting the best of him, but he's so strong and athletic that once he anchors, like, he kind of stifles the rush, you know. He needs reps. You know how it is. Left offensive linemen, they had to, you know, that first time seeing double moves and being able to be, you know, anticipatory and anchor and trust themselves. All of that comes with reps, bro.
It comes with reps.
It comes with reps. And the kid is going to get better. He's damn good. Excuse my French. Charles Jagasaw is damn good. And if Emil Wagner can continue to stack practices like he had today, that tackle position is going into the SEC territory to start it off. Yo, you might have your next 2 tackles being drafted in the first 90 players of the NFL draft. That's
Definitely possible.
That's a possibility. But would it shock us, Left?
No.
That wouldn't shock us. Not in Notre Dame. No.
Not in Notre Dame.
Wouldn't shock us at all. Not at all. Wide receivers, Bo Collins. Bo Collins had a really good day. He really did. Other wide receivers came through. Other wide receivers shined. But Bo Collins definitely had a good day. I'm going to go ahead and probably, from the standpoint of, like I said, the linebacker, look, you had guys that made plays, right? Kingston looks very fast. He's a stud. Drake, solid. Leader. Middle of that defense. I'm going to go ahead and just say the entire secondary, bro. Adon stood out. That secondary is deep. Because I'm sitting up here talking about Adon, and Rod Hurd wasn't a scrub today.
Yeah, he was there too.
Adon was just, man, went a little bit above and beyond, making plays. Jordan Clark in the slot, man, doing his thing. Xavier, what, dude? They are. Leonard Moore, I told you, doing one-on-ones, flashed a couple of times. He might be the best freshman right now.
Yeah.
That if they get one of those freshmen to become a dude, which Mike Mickens has shown the propensity to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we're cooking with grease. We're cooking with grease. Let me tell you something, Left. If this defense trends the way I think they're trending and they stay healthy, September and October are going to be hell on teams, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's done.
Oh, the teams they're playing in September and October, man, it's going to be tough sledding.
Yeah, first 4 or 5 games is
It's definitely going to be tough sledding for teams. It's going to be tough sledding, man, because it just got a lot. I keep telling people this is a defense that I think is going to come at you in waves, the same way Michigan was able to come at you last year. They take out their front 4 and they bring in a second front 4 that's like full of transfers and 4 stars and 5 stars. Man, you're still running for your life if you're a quarterback, right? You still have no separation. They're still bringing pressure. I think that's something you're going to see out of this Notre Dame top 10 defense. Lucky Lefty podcast. You got anything to add before we get out of here, Left?
No, I think it's just more of getting more of what these reports are from camp. And was it 30 days to the first game or something like that?
Hey, man, time is ticking. I think 32 days.
32, yeah.
32 days. 32 days into the next game. I'll be back at practice tomorrow morning. So we'll see, my brother. We will see how things turn out for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But left, SD2 Mics, have a great Wednesday evening. Go enjoy the Olympics or whatever show you might want to watch. We'll have practice report number 2 tomorrow, right here. Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. Make sure you continue to spin it different.